Kelly Clarkson, we've talked about that, Pink, Selena Gomez, and now, you know, I was watching this interview on 60 Minutes this weekend with crooner Sam Smith, and I found what he said. This particular SOT, very powerful. Listen.
Called me fat. That affects me way more than someone calling me a but I am gay, and I'm a proud to be gay, so there's no issues here. If someone calls you fat, it's like, that's something I want to change.
Isn't that incredible? So it's the other F word, and we're talking about fat. It's the word that is so powerful that a lot of people are paralyzed by it.
Yeah, so why does that word hold so much power, and what exactly is fat shaming? Well, joining us now to talk more about this topic is Dr. Jodi, a child and adolescent psychiatrist and author of the book Screen Smart Parenting, and plus-size burlesque performer Lillian Bussell. Thank you both so much for coming in. And you know, we were actually listening to you yesterday on the broadcast, some of your TEDx speech about the other F word. So I wanted to ask you, what does the word fat mean to you?
Well, for me, although I grew up with it being a very loaded word,
yeah,
it just means fat. It's who I am. It's what my body looks like, and it doesn't mean ugly. It's not loaded with all of this shame and all of these other connotations.
But I gotta imagine it's been a process to say that, you know what, it's not a loaded word anymore, because when you're young and you're impressionable and this is what you value, that is a very hard thing to get past. I mean, it's like, you know, it's a shameful, you carry it, like I was saying, it's like a scarlet letter. I'm fat.
Sure.
I don't belong. I'm ugly. It's all those connotations.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's more of I'm not fat. Oh, I'm not. Don't say I'm fat. It's not a secret. Yeah. I'm not hiding anything from anybody.
I love it. I love it.
Doctor, why do you think this word has so much power on people?
I think it's a very shaming word, and our culture so promotes thinness, when thinness doesn't necessarily translate into beauty or happiness. What's really important is to have a positive body image.
Yeah, and you know what, we talk about it again and again and again, and these are some of the twit pictures that we're talking about, where people are talking and being really, really, you know, ugly and nasty about people, and there are those Twitter, you know, trolls that say those mean things to you. But, you know, we're talking about it being a loaded word, and we're talking about how we as a media, as a generation, we continue to do this again. Ideals of beauty have changed over time, and they have always continued to change. But why does this idea of beauty, this one idea that I think a lot of people are brought up with, but that is in magazines, you know, that is on television, that is the one that's always expressed. You have to be a certain way, and if you don't follow it like sheep, you're not considered beautiful. Go ahead.
There's a lot of money to be made by making people feel bad about themselves. Yeah. Like, if everyone just woke up tomorrow and said, oh, I'm cool, I don't need cover-up, I don't need hairspray,
yeah, but why don't we teach our kids that people are making money off this idea of beauty, that people are airbrushed to look this way, that this woman is hawking this makeup product to say that she's beautiful because of this. The reason why she's taking these supplements, it's not because she's fat, it's because she's being paid to take these supplements. Right. Go ahead.
So we have to talk to our kids about what beauty is. I tell all parents to go on YouTube and Google Photoshop, and you will find a little video that shows how they've turned a piece of pizza into a skinny woman in a bikini, right?
Yeah.
And I use that
to help.
It's not real. You can turn pizza into a person. What you see online is not real. Parents have to look around their world and look at people and say that they're beautiful, and they don't need to all fit into one box.
Well, tell me this though, right? So I'm at the doctor maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm getting a physical. You know, step on the scale. Doctor says, oh, Corey, all right, yeah, this is good, that's good. But you can lose a few pounds. You know, says that to me. And hey, it's true, right? I mean, he's a doctor. He's telling me I should lose a little weight. So shouldn't health be a part of this conversation as well?
Well, because a lot of people will say, looking at you, hey, you're not healthy.
But see, that's the thing. You can't tell somebody's health just by looking at them.
Yeah.
You can't. Somebody can be very slim and have health problems. Someone can be very large and be super healthy.
Yeah.
And on top of it, where body image is concerned, don't healthy people get to feel good about themselves as well as not healthy people? Like, does it matter how healthy I am for me to like myself?
I'm sure people would hear that and say, well, should you feel good about yourself if your behavior is unhealthy? I mean, you think everybody should be able to feel fine about their bodies, even if a doctor, like my doctor, says, hey, lose a little weight. You still think that you should feel okay or not?
Well, that again, it's pathologizing the idea that being fat is unhealthy. And obviously, I want everyone to have a personal conversation with their doctor about where they are. But I go in to get my blood pressure checked, and it's always ACEs, and I always get a shocked look from the nurses.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing that we're talking about is the shaming fact. I mean, like, why are we shaming people to make them feel bad, to make a fat be like a loaded word, to make plus size be like a loaded word? If you don't fit into the ideals that have already been put out there, and I have fought this all my life, because you know what, quite frankly, there's not a lot of people that look like me on television doing what I do. Hello? Have my name, and I have had people say, change the way you look, lose some weight, change your name. And I have always fought that, but it gets exhausting to be constantly going upstream all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why I applaud you for having that little TED Talk, because I think it's important to have this conversation. And I think for our next generation, who I hope will be better than us, that we could change things for them.
And let's be clear, fat shaming is not motivational at all.
Yeah.
People think that calling their kids fat will help them to lose weight.
No.
There's actually medical studies out that show that fat shaming increases appetite and causes people to gain weight. So if you want to help your kids, you got to focus on them feeling good about their bodies. Don't tell, I hear 4-year-olds who say they're fat and need to work out. That's ridiculous. 4-year-olds need to be active. They need to have mastery over their own bodies. You want to cultivate activity. You want to point out beauty around them.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make a change about your body, you have to do it from a place of positivity, not from a place of shame and negativity.
Absolutely, because that will never stick, and we've seen that. People do that from a place of shame and negativity, and change never truly happens. So let's make our kids be positive. Thank you. Applaud you for having this conversation. Lillian and, of course, Dr. Gold for talking about this, and fat shaming will